I don't know what I want this video to say. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I'm hoping, though, that it will help someone, whether they are suffering or they know someone that's suffering, just one person. Mental illness is just as bad as a physical illness. You know, you rush someone to hospital that has got pains in their stomach or that is bleeding, but when someone says that they're not okay and you can't physically see that, then you don't do anything about it. You just go, oh, hopefully you'll feel better tomorrow. But their brain is suffering, their mind is suffering, and if we could only see inside their head what their brain is up to, then I think we would most definitely rush them off to hospital because it's not working like it should. And that's not their fault. That they didn't ask for that. They didn't ask for things to not be flowing right in their minds or things to be ticking along like they should. We didn't ask for that. A month ago, I tried to take my life. And I think even to this day, a lot of people, either the people that know, try not to think about that or don't actually understand the severity of it. And I think that's because I was so embarrassed and ashamed that I wasn't honest about it. I wasn't honest about my intentions. And I think not owning it, that's just one more thing to keep bottled up. I suffer from PTSD, and I have a lot of anxiety and a lot of ill feelings about myself. And I've got to say, though, that after that attempt, going through the aftermath of that, physically and mentally, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that I failed. And I think that's what I want to tell everyone. That is the one thing. I can be driving in the car and I will just think about this. I will be in the shower. I will be cooking dinner. I'll be doing whatever. And that's the one thing that I just want to tell everyone. It's always something that's on my mind. I'm like, I need everyone to know this. Because a lot of people don't survive this. And they don't get to know this. That, you know, they don't get to tell you this. They don't get to feel this, that in that bad moment, that's a horrible moment. That's a moment that you don't wish upon anyone to feel that you can't be here anymore. But once that moment's gone, and you are lucky enough to have made it through that moment, you realize that that was just a moment and that things can be okay. You can wake up the next day and realize, actually, that was just a moment. I remember a few days afterwards, despite how I was physically feeling and still recovering, I had my family around, and I remember sitting there watching them thinking, they could be here. My boys could be here. My mum, my dad, my sisters, my husband, they could be planning my funeral right now. For what? You know, and there I was feeling not okay, but better than I had been that day. And I remember thinking, what could I have done? What could have happened in that moment? And being so grateful that I did not succeed. And actually failing in something. I think that was the first time I was like, I'm a failure. And I'm so pleased about that. I failed in that. I would never have got to that point if I had spoken up more. I never hid the fact that I was suffering. People knew. But when people tried to talk to me face to face about this, I'd shut down. I'm such a talkative person. I will talk about anything. I'm an open book. But the judgment around mental health is ridiculous, and what you hear people saying about you and the things that you see, and you do shut down because the judgment is awful. Being called an attention seeker, being told that you should be over this by now, being told, just get up and go outside, just, get on with it, you're fine. That's not what this is, and it makes you shut down even more. And people just need, it's so hard to understand. I get it. Before I went through this myself, I had no idea. I didn't realize how people could feel this way. But it's the same as, have you ever had a appendicitis, or have you ever had, a heart attack? You can't imagine how that feels until you've been there, but we don't judge those people. We understand that a heart attack must hurt, and we are there for those people, and we support them. We get it. Appendicitis and other things like that, we know that hurts, and we take them flowers and we go visit them, and we understand that. But their mental health people don't understand it, so they don't do anything about it. But it's just the same thing. People just don't realize that it hurts. And I think that's what we need to realize. This is a proper illness. It's not all in our minds. It's not in your friend's mind. It's not in your mum's mind. Your husband, your sister, your neighbor. If they're feeling this way, they are literally hurting, and they need you. And they may shut down, and you have to not let them shut down, because then they will get to that point that I got to. And they may not, unfortunately, make it through that moment. And I just, there's so much I could say on this after going through this myself. I'm very grateful that I have that support network now. I can say to someone openly, this is how I'm feeling right about now. It's raining. This is what's happening since I've done this. But I wish I'd felt like that beforehand, and I wish people had understood that I was feeling like that. I think we need to talk about it a lot more. I think people need to not feel so judged. And I know I keep saying that, but more people need to say it's okay to not feel okay. You're allowed to feel like this. Hey, you've been through something. Let yourself feel like that. Let yourself mourn this. Yeah, I don't know what you feel like. Yeah, that probably wouldn't bother me. But it's bothering you, isn't it? I think we need to just... I don't know. I just have to say, like I said, I don't know where this video is going. But I felt like I needed to say something, especially being a sufferer from anxiety and depression. More of us need to speak up and show those that don't quite understand this, that this does hurt. This is a sickness. We're not making this up. We wish that we didn't feel like this. That we're not attention seeking. That we're not... Yeah, okay, we're seeking your attention, because if you don't look at me and realize that I'm hurting right now, something could happen. Something really bad could happen. But we're not making this up. Even if you don't understand it and you think that, still give that person a hug. Still sit there and listen to them. That's what they need. They need someone. They need to feel like someone cares. You don't have to understand it. And thank goodness you don't understand it. Thank goodness you haven't been through it. Because I wouldn't wish it upon anyone. But just remember, this is a proper illness that they are feeling, much like a heart attack, much like, you know what I mean. And they need support, and they need love, and they need kindness, and they need someone to sit with them, just like you would go sit with someone after an operation, or that's sick. You call in and see if they're okay, if they need anything, because they can't get up and walk, or they've in bed unwell. It's the same thing. It really is. This person is sick and they need your love and support. If you're going through something yourself, remember what I said, that it's a bad moment. You can have some severely bad moments. But give yourself more time. Give yourself tomorrow, the next day. Because I never thought that even though I don't feel 100% myself, I never thought that I would even feel this from that. And I just think about the things that I could be missing out on right now. My boys growing up, my, things that we're planning for our family, my career. I could miss out on all of that because of that moment that just took over. Just think about it. Think about what could be tomorrow. What could be in the next minute. Give yourself another minute. Go and make a coffee. Get up. Go make a coffee and give yourself that minute, and then give yourself another minute, and then maybe another minute. It is really hard. It's a really hard game, but I think if we all understood the effects that this has had, if people suffering knew that it was okay to not be okay, and people that are okay to be okay with that person that's not okay. It's the only way that everyone is eventually going to be okay.